Looking to be more productive and jump those hurdles of change and challenge easier? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Thrive in Life with your hosts, Zaheen Nanji.
Hello, and welcome to the Thrive in Life show, episode number 27. And I'm so excited to have a guest with me because he has done what I have done, and that's NLP. You've heard me speak about NLP several times on my show. And for those of you just listening for the first time or watching us for the first time, it is neuro-linguistic programming. And Sean is in Denver, and you can see him on the screen for those of you watching. And for those of you listening to iTunes, we will let you know where to go and see him or listen to him. And I don't believe I just did the air quotes on podcast here, but anyway, not a problem. So Sean, let's just get on with it. Come on board and say hi to everyone. And just know that for you listening, this is on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. You can also watch the show on my website at zaheennanji.com. So help me welcome Sean. Come on up.
Hi there, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Zaheen. I'm really appreciative of being here.
Oh, thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I did tell the viewers and the listeners that you do NLP, but tell us how you came across this, what you do with it now, and how you plan to help people. I understand you're also going to Southeast Asia.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to know more about that.
So actually, I found neurolinguistic programming a few years ago. I was going through a difficult breakup, and I couldn't really deal with the emotions in the way that I wanted to at the time. And so I learned how the mind works, and I learned how I could better use my emotions. And what I ended up discovering was just how powerful NLP was. And so I started a meetup group here in Denver, and I've been running it for just about 2 years now, where I teach people every week in like a weekly seminar kind of thing, how to use NLP and how to use their minds more effectively. And so just recently, probably about 6 to 9 months ago, people kept telling me that I should take this further, start coaching and doing things even more in depth. And so I made the leap about 6 months ago, and I'm really going at it full blast now. And that's right, I'm going to be heading out and taking a break from my meetup group to go do some traveling in Bali and all around Southeast Asia.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that as well.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Now, in the pre-interview, I noticed that you've helped people with anxiety, with overcoming, debt. Tell us about that. Like, did you do that in one, session? Like how? And I can understand that, but I know with the listeners and viewers are thinking, how can you help someone overcome anxiety with just one session? So tell me more about this.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite ones was one of the first women that came to see me, and she had debilitating agoraphobia. And what that is that you're scared to go into public places. So even for her to come and see me in my office was a challenge for her.
Wow.
But she came in and she had riddling anxiety, and really just through seeing how her mind works and giving her a new perspective on the social fears that she has, then she was able to go forward and reanalyze things, because those fears were only trying to help her and protect her. But when she realized that she was already safe, then she could go forward and she could be just fine in those social situations.
And now she's okay. She can go out and she's doing everything that she wants to do.
Yeah. I was surprised not to have to even see her again. So it was absolutely wonderful.
Wow. Congrats on that. That is great. So, hey, if any of you listening or watching, if you have the same anxiety, look up Sean, and we'll go through all that information after as well. Now, just before we go on, this episode is about how to find your inner greatness. And Sean will go through that with us as well. But he's also given us a great gift, or what I like to call a freebie. And that will be available on my website. If you go to zaheennanji.com the number 27 for episode 27. Again, that's zaheennanji.com/the number 27. And you'll see the download there. Make sure you download that gift, and you'll also get a free session with him. Is that right, Sean?
That's correct.
Okay, so you'll get 2 freebies. You'll get the ebook that he has made as well as a free session. Like, that is amazing. Make sure you do that. And you can get it in one session. You can probably get rid of anything you want. You never know. All right, so let's get into some of the questions that I have for you. Now, you talk about inner greatness, but how did you overcome your own inner greatness? Or how did you come into your own inner greatness?
You know, it was a rather challenging process for me, where I grew up not being good enough and having just a family environment where we had known that we had no control over our lives, and really we just had to kind of deal with whatever was tossed upon our plates and what was given to us. And really, I don't know how I found it, but eventually I found the power to learn how to be better. And I had seen some people doing some better things in my life, and I just had the opportunity to be around them. And so really having that, it inspired me to look at my life and see how I could do things better. And it was a moment where I just realized that I could absolutely learn something and have it change my life. And that whole moment was when I first taught myself how to type on the keyboard, actually.
Really? And
Yeah.
what was going on in your head when you were learning how to type? What kind of thoughts were coming up for you that, made you realize that that's the moment?
You know, it was interesting. I just had this thought that I could learn this one thing, and some kind of driving force inspired me to do it. But after that, it was like everything that I had an aspiration of learning, Lord, absolutely like led me to something else. So first it was where I was really, I wanted to have better health. So I had this idea, and you're going to probably laugh at this, but I had this idea that having the perfect body would make me super attractive to the opposite sex, that women would adore me if I had that. And so I had this driving force after that to go to the gym 6 days a week and just put everything I had into that. And that eventually led to more things, such as me learning how to talk, how to be social, and then learning how to figure out the finances, business, and those other things.
I find that so true. And that's nice that you honed in on the one thing that you thought, oh, if I can do this, I can do other things. And I find that this is where other people get stuck, or they don't realize that they've done something in the past that has made them find their inner greatness, but they forget. And they don't realize that if I could tap into that, what made me do that really well, that will make me do what I want now really well. Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you talk a lot about the power we have in us. So why is it that you believe that others are capable of so much more?
It was actually interesting, and one of my friends had mentioned this story, and it was actually a study that I looked up. But essentially, the chances of us even coming into existence are about 1 out of 400 million. And then that's just even on a conservative side. It goes all the way up to 1 out of 400 trillion. And that's from just conception, from our parents just having sex, them actually being able to produce us. There was about 200 million sperm cells fighting for that one egg. And so I really believe that you've already won such a significant race just to be here on Earth. You might as well make the most out of that. You might as well really just take the steps that you need to, because really here on Earth, it's not like there's 200 million other people just trying to fight you and all those things. It's a collaborative effort. So if you can win that race, then you can pretty much do anything here, I feel.
Yes, and that's a great place to start, is when we were all conceived. There was a reason that we came on this earth. I was doing a speaking tour in Kenya, and that's where I'm from. But I was asked to speak for the Aga Khan Health Board. And we went to 4 different, towns. And in each town, something made me say, during that time, and I spoke about how to attract your ideal weight just by being, mindful of the way you eat and the relationship that you have with food. It's not about making sure that you have so many calories or making sure, all that is important, but the first step is just being mindful of how you eat and what you eat. And so when I was doing that, something made me say to them that, you know what, you only have one body, one life, make it count. And you know that you're unstoppable because you've come so far. From the time that you were conceived, I didn't say that, but I said, you can be unstoppable because you can do what you want. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because, yeah, we have one life, so make it count. Okay, so what's the first thing then, since you're saying that we can find our inner greatness, that we're capable, what's the first thing that one has to do if they want to change or start to uncover their own greatness? What would the first thing that they have to do?
And this comes from one of my great teachers, where the first thing you have to do is you have to accept the moment. You have to be in the moment. You have to accept you as you are now. And while these thoughts of life should be different, or I should be lower weight, or I should have the life I want to, you can accept those things and also know that those things are clues for you going forward of how you want your life to change. But the first step is to accept yourself, accept where you are now, and embrace the you that you are for knowing and acknowledging those things that you want to change as well.
Okay. So now I'm sure that we have some listeners and viewers asking, okay, but how can I just accept myself? I'm having such a hard time. Like, what can I say to myself, or what can I do to make me understand that I need to accept me the way I am?
And this is one of the most powerful things that I learned, is that through our struggles comes who we really truly end up being. So going through such situations and facing that adversity, facing those things that you don't want to, and having those problems in your life are going to transform you into the person that you want to become. Those things are actually positive benefits that are really going to shape you. They're positive lessons for you that are going to help you going forward.
So what you're saying, Sean, then is not to shy away from the struggles or the obstacles that come in our lives. Yes?
Absolutely. I would say to be thankful for them.
Yes, thankful. So, Sean, and I'm not sure if the listeners and the viewers are aware, but on July 29th, I was diagnosed with cancer in my right breast. And, I've heard people say different things to me, and I have friends who have gone through the same thing. And there are some people out there who are just so angry at God. They're like, why me? And I have had, blogs on my website saying, I'm so thankful for what I got because it's making me go through things in my life that I never thought I would go through. And it's making me think differently. And it's making me now into a stronger person, I think, because I'm being grateful for what I have in my life now, So is that something that you, like, how would you tell someone who is just so angry about something in their life? Like, why me? That's the first thing that comes usually, right? Like in people's mind, like even when I was told, yeah, you've got breast cancer, I said, why me? Like I have a wellness center, right? I teach people how to eat healthy, how to live healthy. I teach people how to bounce back from life. Why me? And that was the first thought that came to my mind. And then I really had to reframe and say to myself, okay, how can I embrace this? And how can it help me along the way? So do you find that just changing the thought patterns alone helps? Or do you find that there is different things that would help people who are at that stage of why me?
Absolutely. And first, I like to do reframes a lot. I also like to tell metaphors, helping other people see different sides of the story. When you overcome those obstacles, it does lead to your greatest strength. I often tell the story about Tony Robbins and how he was growing up. Basically, his mom wanted him to fill in prescriptions when he was a young kid, and he tells the story a little bit better, but essentially it transformed him into being that person that really cared for other people and wanted to make sure that they never went through the things and the type of things that he went through. I know that from my struggles, being totally like awkward and not good socially, that's become my biggest strength now, where I can lead a whole meetup group and have a seminar on Saturdays. And I'm so thankful for that. And so taking it a step further, I also tell them, what have been the things that you've overcome, things that you thought were insurmountable, things that you didn't know that you were going to overcome. And then looking back, can't you be thankful for those things now? Mm-hmm. Usually, yeah.
And you find that when they say yes, does that help them then shift and think about the current situation that they're in and how they can be grateful for that? Is that how you kind of start off with?
Yeah, absolutely. And really, it's just a change in perspective. I really have the principal mindset that I can't really change you, but I can give you a new perspective that will allow you to change. And so working with a woman on financial issues a few weeks back, she had made the decision to buy a truck and then downsize her current truck. And it was really a process for her, but it was the right move until she got the truck and it was totally rust damaged. And so she was ripped off essentially for $2,000. But really, when you help her see the different perspective about things, and that it wasn't that she was ripped off so much as that other person didn't really know, and it was the best decision that other person could make at that time. And really helping her see that perspective, not that other person was trying to wrong her, but that other person didn't know any better. That was really the empowering part. And so it became, why me? And then it was, okay, I accept this now and I can live in compassion with this other person. And that was the most empowering thing for her.
Wow. Okay. So for those of you listening and watching this, remember, reframing is an amazing tool that you can use. And by the way, in my recent blog, I mentioned how a TV series that I've been watching, and it's been airing on the Hallmark channel. It's called Good Witch. And it's a family show. But on that show, the Good Witch helps the people of the town, because they come to her for different things where they're stuck or they have an issue that they're dealing with. And she's amazing reframer. She'll just reframe their, challenge, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. Oh yes, I should do that. And they go and do it. And so if you have the Hallmark channel, go watch Good Witch. Okay, so what do you tell someone who believes that they have no control over their life? Maybe they're stuck and they don't know what to do. How would you start by telling them something that would help them?
The first thing I try to do in that situation is a state break. So I would say, well, who does have control over your life?
I love that.
That's a scary thought. Because if we don't have control over our lives, then who does?
Yes. Yesterday I had a client that I was coaching, and she's learning how to deal with her weight, and she's lost like 50 pounds already. Wow. But this last weekend, she said that she had a reunion in her house, and she was doing really well the whole week, except when it came to the reunion, and she did fine until it came to the desserts. And she had a plan in place. She said, I knew what to have for a dessert. It wasn't what everyone else was having. But she goes, I don't know what happened. I just went for the desserts that I knew were not good for me at that time. And she goes, I lost control. And then she goes on to say how this week she's going to a conference, and now she knows how to be in control. And something made me say, well, you lost control last weekend, so how are you going to not do that this time, right? Or how are you going to be able to keep that control? So it's funny how she felt that she lost control then, even though she had control because she had planned ahead, right? So this is, I think we as, human beings, our mind is so complex, but yet we don't realize that it's so simple in a way that you can just stop and check in with your thoughts, become aware of what is going on. And then finally afterwards, she came across saying, I knew what it was. I didn't want to be different than the others.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. Why should I eat differently than them? And yeah. And she goes, and I didn't want to be asked any kind of questions. And I said, well, you've had reunions in the past this year while you've been losing weight. So how is this different? She goes, you're right. I don't know how it's different. So it's these kinds of things where you're saying is that the first question to ask is, again, Sean, if you want to say that again.
I'm sorry?
You were saying that the question that you would ask them if they feel that they have no control is,
if you don't have control, then who has control over your life? Absolutely.
Okay, if you don't have control. Okay, so that is going to be in the show notes.
And then also I would ask her on that example as well, looking at that secondary gain that she gets from being like everybody else. That's a powerful thing to acknowledge as well, because she wants to be similar to them. She wants to be in rapport with them.
Yes.
And by her breaking that, it puts her at a place where she's all alone.
Yes, that's amazing. That's good. I'll let her know. Okay. What is the biggest challenge that you have found others go through?
The biggest thing that I found is that oftentimes people don't know what they want. And I see this so often where they're just kind of going along with emotions, not really going with what they want and deciding definitely that that's what I want and I'm going to take all the action towards it. But they really don't have the power, or they don't think that they have the power to decide what they want. And from that, they have the fear of failure, where they think that what they want is too much or they can't get it. And so they don't take the action necessary to go ahead and fail a bunch of times. What I've seen most is really the high achievers, the people who are most successful in life. They fail a ton, but they know what they want. They're after it, that definite goal that they have, and they fail so many times that it doesn't really mean anything to them. It doesn't say anything about them other than that they're willing to pay the cost of what it takes to get what they want.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is so true. And so what would you advise them to do then if they're at a place where they don't know what they want or they're scared of failing?
I usually have an exercise that I take them through, and I ask them, if there was no chance of failure, if you could have life in the way that you want, how would you design it? And what would it be like? And this is a chance that we can go ahead and we can take out all the limitations. I can't do this because they won't let me. I can't do this because I'm not good enough. All those things we just wash away, and we really get to the bottom of, in your essence, what would you do if you could do anything that you wanted in life?
I love that. Taking out all the limitations. So what is the one thing you would want for others to know?
Really, I want others to know that they're capable of so much more than they even know or think of right now. And that they really have the opportunity in this day and age to be that person they want to have the things that they want in life. And it's all on them. Really, for them to take their own power, it's all on them. And they have the ability to. Sometimes we may not know how to unlock that power, or we may not have an idea of exactly what it is to unleash that power, but we can find that. And through getting coaches or surrounding ourselves with other people who have done the things that we want to, asking them questions and being in similar energies as those people, we can learn pretty much anything, and we can become those people that we want to become.
Yes, and I truly, truly believe in that. You know, in in my life, especially when I was a young kid. And for those of you listening and watching this and who know me for a while, know that I stuttered up into my 20s. And I would never imagine doing the show. You know, I would never imagine even speaking on stage. But I knew what I wanted. And it's the moment that you described about how you knew if you could learn how to type on a keyboard, you could do other things. And the same thing occurred with me is if I knew I could talk to 2 or 3 people, and I had no issues there, then could I talk to a group of 10? Could I talk to a group of 20, 30, 100, 800, right? And so it went from there. And it wasn't easy because it took me 10 years for me to understand that, okay, now I speak fine. I speak normally. I may have a stutter here or there, but it doesn't even get me emotionally charged like the way I used to. So do you find too that once, people start to find their inner greatness, their emotions are just different after too? Like there's not that charge where it used to bug them before. It doesn't bug them anymore now because they're way past over that.
Absolutely. And I see it as usually people become a totally different person, where the person that maybe had stuttered before and the new you who doesn't stutter anymore, that person who doesn't stutter has a totally different mindset of that's not even an issue, or that other person who did stutter, that's all they can concern themselves with.
And focus themselves on. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we're at the end, and we had so much fun talking about inner greatness that the time just flew. But I wanted to remind you that please go to zaheennanji.com/27, the number 27. Download Sean's gift that he has given you. It's 2 gifts, actually, 2 in 1. So it's an ebook, and it's called Failure to Triumph. And it's stories of all these people that you hear about and how they got over their failures and how they think differently. And in that ebook, you will also get a free strategy session with Sean. And Sean, if you want to tell us how to contact you, what your website is.
Absolutely. It's www.altershift.com.
Okay. And are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, just in case people want to follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. As AlterShift?
Alter.Sean.
Alter.Sean. Okay. So it's altershift.com. And you can get a hold of him there as well. Check him out. And if you're in Denver, make sure that you go to his meeting. But now he's going to Southeast Asia, and I'm jealous. So maybe when you get back, you can check him out. Thank you so much, Sean, for being on the show. And I learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Zaheen.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to Thrive in Life with your hosts, Zaheen Nanji. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit ZaheenNanji.com. That's ZaheenNanji.com. We'll catch you on the next episode of Thrive in Life.